When you think of Nintendo light gun games, one game comes to mind, and that's Duck Hunt. Thanks to being the pack-in with any system that came with a light gun, Duck Hunt was ubiquitous. At least in the United States. In Japan, Duck Hunt is the obscure second game for a failed peripheral. Wild Gunman was the initial pack-in with the gun. Duck Hunt was just the later option. But Wild Gunman was barely a tech demo. Duck Hunt is where the peripheral started to show its ability. No longer are players gunning down stationary targets that slowly trudge out or pop out from behind a window. The ducks in Duck Hunt are active, they move fast, and they're smaller targets. The game starts out simple enough. You only have to shoot 6 ducks in Game A to get a passing score. But with every 10 rounds, the requirement creeps up 1 until you have to play perfectly to pass. The ducks get faster, too. They zip around the screen at high speed, taking less time before they fly away. Another complication for players is that there's limited ammo. You only have 3 shots before the ducks leave. And then there's that dog. I'm not sure if there is a previous game where an in-game character gives you feedback on how you're performing, but everybody hates how that dog laughs at you when you miss the ducks. Perhaps the worst kept secret in video games is that Duck Hunt is a 2-player game. In Mode A, the second player can grab a controller and guide the duck around the screen. Pressing a direction changes the duck's direction immediately, although the duck will still change direction on its own if it reaches the edge of a screen or after a short period. On the Famicom, this is done with Player 1 controller since the light gun is plugged into the expansion port. While revealing this inevitably blows somebody's mind, it's in the manual. Both the US and Japanese manual. Nobody reads the manual, you say? Well, that's okay, since they show off the 2-player functionality in the commercial for the game. If there's one major problem with Duck Hunt, it's that Game A is slow. It takes about 10 to 15 seconds for each duck to fly up, get shot, fall down, the dog to pick it up. It actually makes Mode A pretty exhausting to play, as each round takes over a minute, and it could be until round 15 or 20 before you're actually challenged. Game B is a better choice for just playing. With 2 ducks and only 3 bullets, you can only miss once. Multiple ducks both make the game go faster and make the challenge ramp up more quickly. Unfortunately, Game B is just single player. No one else can control the ducks in this mode. Before going on, let me describe quickly how the light gun works. When the trigger is pulled, the Famicom blacks out the screen for a moment. Then white squares appear around all the targets on the screen. The timing of the appearance of the white square determines which target is being shot at. A photoreceptor in the gun detects the light, and from there the Famicom can work out what's been hit. This is why aiming the zapper at a light bulb would work to register hits. And the change in timing due to digital processing with modern televisions is why it only works on old CRT televisions. Game C is my least favorite of the 3 modes. 2 clay pigeons get fired simultaneously, and you have quite a while in which to hit them. The targets do get smaller over time, but it never really feels challenging. I recall a few days after we got our Nintendo, watching my younger brother play over 50 rounds of the clay shooting. And no, he wasn't aiming at a light bulb or having the gun up to the screen either. It's obvious when you compare Duck Hunt to Wild Gunman and Hogan's Alley why Nintendo chose it to be the pack-in the United States. It's the one that actually feels like a full-featured quality game. This is another case of Nintendo building on its past, too. Just like Wild Gunman was based on an electromechanical game, so is Duck Hunt. In the late 70s, Nintendo sold a Duck Hunt game that consisted of a projector that flashed duck outlines on the wall for players to shoot at. And the clay pigeon mode was based on a clay pigeon shooting arcade game that Nintendo made. There's one more light gun game to go, but we do have one release that squeezed in before it.